new year, you'd have to come to the book center. But honestly, there's all kinds of books, and I have them myself. They're on my bookshelf in my meditation corner, you know. I love day-by-day books. I really do. The two that I picked, however, are not day-by-day books, you know, just for a change. But again, one is an old favorite, and I read it over and over again. Another is just another one we had too much of. We had too many copies in our bookstore. I said, it looks like a nice book, but, you know, nobody's picking up what's it about. So, okay, I'll show you the new book first. The new book is My Life with the Saints. Now, I'm not a writer, I'm a reader. I love reading, but I don't write. However, if I had written a book, I wish it was this one. I really do, because it's so readable, so enjoyable. You know, it's like strolling down memory lane with this Father James Martin, who is telling you stories about, you know, growing up, his seminary days, his days, you know, in mission and whatever, but related to a saint that he, you know, grew up with. And for him, the saints were like friends. They were really friends. And for a lot of people, they might just be something that, you know, you read, you have to do a book report, you know, on All Saints Day or whatever. But many of the saints that he likes, I grew up liking these saints. And so I said, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that nice? You know, he likes the same people, a lot of the same people, but I met a lot of new friends. I was never really terribly keen on St. Ignatius, although the person who's recording this loves St. Ignatius. He has also the Ugandan martyrs, saints that I didn't know that much about, but he also has Francis of Assisi and Therese of Lisieux. Thomas Aquinas. I've learned all kinds of things I never knew about Thomas Aquinas. Dorothy Day, who's one of my recent favorites, but a lot of people that, Mother Teresa, it's just almost like a 7-story mountain type of thing. It's his memoirs, but with the saints. And then he says, but don't stop with this. At the end of the book, he says, there's so many new friends that I have met, new saints, that he would, you know, he would like continue to tell this story. And he said one thing that always impressed him when they were talking about the saints was that if you are attracted to a particular saint, most likely it's because that saint's already praying for you. You know, it's such a nice way of looking at it. You know, if I'm attracted to St. Bernadette or St. Therese, there must be a reason why. These saints are probably already praying for me. And that's the whole communion of saints. In other words, these aren't just, you know, plaster of Paris statues that or stained glass windows. These were actual, you know, flesh and blood people that a lot of times we're going through the same things that I'm going through. That's sometimes the attraction to saints is because there's something similar. Sometimes it's because they challenge you. There's something so different about them that draws you. But it's so good. It really is such a wonderful book. And, you know, I grew up loving the saints too. I mean, at least from the time I knew about them, because I'm a convert. But I was always fascinated by the saints. And I said, you know, truly, if I ever wrote a book, I'd like to write about something like this, something that, you know, you walk away from it thinking that the saints really are friends or possible friends, or people who care about you and people who are praying for you. And isn't that's to me is so important. But anyhow, I highly recommend this book. I really do. I read through it so quickly that I really feel I should do it justice by reading it a second time. But this one is an old favorite of mine, and it's like the Imitation of Christ. It has been reprinted a gazillion times. You can read it really in a couple sittings, but what he says is just so profound, and by the time you really implement it into your life, it could be quite a while. So I mean, take it and read it and absorb it, and, you know, but it's called The Practice of the Presence of God. And I also suggested it as, you know, what you can do before Christmas, you know, like Advent reading, but it's also a great way to start the new year too, you know. So, I don't know, there's stacks of books. I guess I could have picked a bunch of other ones, but, you know, I guess the ones you grab off the shelf in a hurry are probably the ones that are meant. You know, these are the ones that, yeah, which ones am I reading recently? Which ones am I really, you know, what would I give for Christmas gifts? What would I recommend to friends? This is probably where I would start with, and then work from there, because there's no end to books. You know what I'm saying? There's just no end to it. But anyhow, this is a good place to start.
Hi, I'm Sister Ann, author of Nun Blog and host of this program. I have something to add to what Sister Julie Mary recommended for New Year reading. You note that she didn't offer any day-by-day books. There's a host of really good ones available. But the one I think is best is the Missal. We have a weekday Missal. It's the actual readings that the church does day by day. What better way to get spiritual reading right from the Word of God, connect yourself to the liturgy, live in tune with the rhythm of the church year, grow in knowledge of the Bible, knowledge of the saints, ability to meditate and apply the scriptures to your life. So my New Year's pick would be a Missal. If you're going to make a New Year's resolution to do some spiritual reading every day, you can't find a better place to start. So that's my recommendation. And in the name of Sister Julie Mary, myself, our communities of New Orleans and Chicago, Happy New Year.